Welcome back, Rage Nation. We are doing some Brewmaster talk. This card is fun. So we're going to go ahead and talk about him. Looking at the front and back of his card, he does a lot with poison, putting damage on models by moving next to him and using poison as another tool you can use. So the big thing about him is barroom brawl. When any of his tri-chi models move within an inch of a model, you can go ahead and reduce the poison by 1 to do 1 damage to any model within 1. So this is really cool. It's going to be something we're going to use to build up as much poison as we can, and then we're going to try to ping our opponents with as much damage from that as we can. There's a lot of out of activation movements, so we can do this pretty much once an activation pretty reliably. Even when your opponent activates, we should be able to put damage out with this barroom brawl ability. So definitely one thing you want to make sure you're paying attention with Brewmaster as we unpack turn 1. The other thing that's big is this happens Tipsy slide. It's really good. You can move your models by how much damage they would take. They don't actually take the damage, but how much they would take if they did. You move that much. So it's really good. And once again, lasting liquor. You can't remove poison from friendly models within 8 of Brewmaster 2. So definitely very excited for this version of Brewmaster. Going to walk you through what his turn 1 looks like. And then I'll also show you just how you want to benefit and get Tipsy slide not only, but barroom brawl, figuring out how to get as much out of that as you can. So this is going to be a really good video to see how you can unpack all there is for Brewmaster. You can see on the board, it's a typical list. We have the Whiskey Golem, 2 fermented river monks. You can bring 3. Those 2 monks do have 12 cups of coffee. Also have Fingers, Shoujo, and then Apprentice Wesley is also in this list. So typical Brewmaster 2 list. You're going to deploy pretty compact. I'm going to activate Shoujo usually first turn 1 and drop a scheme. That way if I have a ram when I do another round, I can get a stone out of that. So I tend to put 1 down, and then I'm going to start putting out poison on other models and putting out poison on Shoujo. Her bonus gives her 2 poison, but as pretty much everything except for the Whiskey Golem has have a drink attack, and this helps put poison out. So basically just start that poison train going, put poison 2 onto the monks. Just get that train rolling. Later on, I am going to attack Shoujo with Have a Drink from other models, just because Have a Drink is so good that you need to have poison on Shoujo, and she doesn't benefit from this hazardous aura. We're going to see her in a minute. So you're going to want to put some attacks early on Shoujo with Have a Drink just to get her poison up, to benefit from those pass tokens that she's going to use to get reduce her poison to get pass tokens. That's the big thing you want to do with her. So activating Brewmaster 2, he's usually going to be pretty early in the turn as well. You want to do Open the Gourd first. This is going to put out all your poison hazardous aura within 2. It has to be a construct or a marker. So that's why you got to bring the Whiskey Golem. It's tanky. It's a perfect Open the Gourd. That's probably the biggest thing you need to make sure that goes off turn 1. Just because it's going to build up so much poison, as you're going to see with your crew. You can do swift action, so if you have a marker or if you have another construct, you can put Open the Gourd out again. Remember also, Open the Gourd doesn't go away. It doesn't go away until you activate Brewmaster again. So even at the end of the turn, that effect's still going to remain in play. So Open the Gourd is huge. It's going to put out that big aura because it's a big fat Whiskey Golem. And every time you do something now, you're just going to get poison. If you walk, you're going to get poison. Triggers are going to get poison. And you can see I keep track of poison by my dice. And it's going to give you a good idea of how much poison this crew is going to have at the end of turn 1. So keep an eye on that as the turn progresses here. I'll even show you towards the end of the turn how much poison all this crap has on it. because you're going to use the poison a lot. So another round, turn 1, do this 3 times. You want to get 6 poison out onto all of your stuff. So you're just going to drop a shockwave. Everything within 2 is going to get poison 2 when you get this off. You'll need to 6. If you hit the reposition, you're going to put more poison on Brewmaster. Hey, Red Joker. So we did get the running tab trigger, which means that if the shockwave touches a scheme marker, you can add a soul stone to your pool. So usually that only comes into play turn 1 for me. But you can do it to remove other scheme markers, because notice it's not friendly. You can remove your opponent's scheme marker as well. So everything's going to get 2, and the first time that this resolves, you're going to act as if you're resolving the poison condition, so that is going to trigger Tipsy Slide. But since it's turn 1, pretty much everything's only going to move 1 or 2 inches. But the good news is it doesn't reduce though, because you have that aura up. So since everything's moving, you'll lose the poison, but you'll get it back when you move because of the hazardous poison aura. Just shuffling everything up. A couple things can move too, because some like Shoujo and the Monk both have poison 4 already on them. So open the gourd is huge. So we're just going to hit it 2 more times. You're going to see me just stack poison, and you're going to have a lot of poison up just after these first 2 activations. So once again, doing another round. You'll see the flip here in a minute. Always make sure your shockwave marker has line of sight to your stuff. That way everything can get that poison. And if you can cheat in and flip for the mass trigger. That way when you do the reposition, when you do that trigger move, you'll end up getting another poison on Brewmaster. But we're going to get everything going. Everything is getting 2 poison. It's just really good. So by the end of this activation, every model is going to have at least 6 poison. And a lot of things are going to have more than that. Brewmaster will have more because he's getting extra poison each time he does an action. Yeah, it's good. So you'll see as this stacks up, you can see Shoujo already has 6. Every model has 4. Brewmaster gets the reposition trigger so he can move 3. So he's going to get another poison. So this is just after Brewmaster's activation. You can see that every model is going to have at least 6. Some of them are going to have 8 poison. So this is really good for the crew. Because once again, this is a resource we can use, right? We can use this to mitigate damage with certain models. We can use it to move when we get the Tipsy Slide trigger. We can use it to do damage with the barroom brawl. So we want, turn 1 is all about getting as much poison out as you can. That way you can use it throughout the game. Okay, so looking at what we're activating next, I think I'm just doing Apprentice Wesley, just doing Have a Drink onto Shoujo. Once again, you want to build up extra on Shoujo because throughout the game, you're going to reduce her poison by 3 to get a pass token with her ability. And then I charge Wesley onto the Monk because once again, the Monks are going to be up in the middle of it and they want poison to reduce damage, to do damage. So the Monks just want as much, you want to front load on the Monks as much as possible. And then of course the bonus, everybody has the ability to do the bonus action where you heal and get poison. With their Trusty Flask ability, so you want to make sure that you're doing that as well. And doing that in the aura, that way you're getting basically 2 poison with your Trusty Flask a turn, or an activation. Because you'll get it when you declare it, and then you'll get another poison just from the action. Doesn't even matter if you don't heal. Okay, so I think now that we have those activations, we're going to go ahead and do Fingers. This is big. Fingers is your card draw. So Fingers is going to do Trusty Flask. but he has a built-in, sorry, he doesn't, I don't believe, have a built-in Drunken Stumble. That's for the, that's the Monk's Drunken Stumble, so ignore that. But just know that Trusty Flask is on pretty much every model except for the Whiskey Golem. So you're getting poison, you're getting 2 poison basically for just doing your bonus. Oh, Fingers has, I think, the Shower with Booze trigger. So when he does it, he's going to put out 1 poison on models within 2. So that's great for everything going on there. And then we're going to do Toast. So Fingers is going to get a toast for everybody, cheering them on, getting everybody drunk. Everybody within 6 is going to get poison. Notice that's your opponent as well, so that can be great for beer goggles and other abilities. I don't have line of sight to the 1 monk, so he's not going to get the poison. And then we can reduce Fingers' poison to draw cards. So usually, I mean, turn 1 you can if you need to. Turn 1's not a big draw card turn though, so I would probably just keep it stacked on Fingers unless your hand just sucks. But you can reduce it, and for every 2 poison you reduce it, you get to draw a card. So I mean, get rid of 6 poison, draw 3 cards, seems pretty good. So I'm doing it here just to show you, but drawing 3 cards, oh, so good. And he still has 3 poison on him. And then I'm going to do Have a Drink onto the Whiskey Golem. This is so good because it has a built-in Obey with a small favor. So basically, I'm just going to use this to have the Whiskey Golem do a walk. And then we're good. I don't know if I've ever used Pilfer. Usually it's just for the Obey. You can have the Whiskey Golem charge, you can have other models charge, move, whatever you need them to do. So Fingers Have a Drink is super good, super powerful. You usually going to do that once and then draw cards and do your bonus action. That's pretty much what you're going to do with Fingers. Okay, now we're getting into the Monk's activations. We'll go ahead and do Trusty Flask. Gonna gain poison. Chi is also so good with these monks. Being able to increase your duels by 2, just super good. So the monks Have a Drink is really good. Or sorry, not Have a Drink, but Stumble is really good just because of that ability to get the Drunken Stumble. Have a Drink is super good because you can concentrate, you're giving out poison, and you can even get poison on your own models as well. So these monks with Brewmaster 2 are so powerful. I bring 3 occasionally. 2 is your minimum. You want 2 with 12 cups of coffee on them, just because of the ability that you're going to see later. So I'll show you that. But putting out poison, getting poison. I mean, look at that 1 monk on the far left already has 14 poison. It hasn't even activated yet. Redonk, Ulyss. Love these monks. And I love the models, so I'm really super happy that they really have a play here. So going to go with the other monk. The other monk's going to just keep engaged with Shoujo. You can charge there, but I think instead of attacking Shoujo, I just decide to put some poison onto the Whiskey Golem. So putting poison out, getting poison for it. I think I'm hitting the other monk, which is even better. And then I do the other one on the Whiskey Golem. And keep in mind, this is all willpower. Willpower is pretty low on most of your models, so as long as you don't flip, and even if you flip the Black Joker on some of them, you're going to hit with the Have a Drink. And then, once again, just the ability to, with the Trusty Flask, with the Drunken Stumble trigger, there's just so much ways to, and that's what I just got right there with that 1-inch Drunken Stumble. Because then you get a poison for the Drunken Stumble trigger. It's just ridiculous. You can see both those monks are already at 14 and 16 poison. So we have the Whiskey Golem. The Whiskey Golem could do a lot of things here. It could walk, it could charge. There's there's a lot of things you could do with it. You could heal models, you can put poison on models with its gun. So it really is flexible at this point. If you feel like being brave, you can get in shitty with people. If you want to play a little more reserved, you can just scoot it up a little bit. Because as you're going to see with Tipsy Slide lets you reposition so much. So the card I just flipped shows you how much damage they would take at which levels, which now just got capped at 5, which is fine. You guys will see that here in a second. But we're going to resolve Tipsy Slide. Since we have a shit ton of poison, basically we have 13 on most models. Stuff's going to move basically 3, 4, 5 inches at the end of the turn when you resolve the poison. This is just the errata I want to show really quick. They capped burning and poisoning, so you can't take more than 5 damage. So that means Brewmaster's crew, since they can only take 5 damage, they can only move 5 inches. So we're going to move him first. There's Tipsy Slide just so you can read it. We have 16 poison there on that monk, and this is a move. Notice it says move that number of inches equal to the damage. So you don't even have to go in a straight line. It's not a push. You can literally just move. So you can walk around these boxes. You can walk away from models. The other monk has 14, so once again able to move 5. Brewmaster has a shit ton, I believe. Nope, he has 13. That's respectable. So he's just going to scoot up the board. And just waiting on showing the other dice here, but basically all your models are going to move at least 2 inches usually. But most of your important hitters are going to move 4. The important part is you want the monks out front, because if your opponent decides to start engaging them with 12 cups of coffee, they're going to start pinging people for damage. And you'll see what I mean here in a minute. I'll give you a little example with some enemy models. Okay, and then Wesley's a good support piece. He has a good sober up, so you kind of want him in the back. He's also good for carrying the lodestone. He is not insignificant, so he can help you scheme. So keep that in mind, because if your opponent goes after him, he goes down pretty quick. But usually if they're coming in after him, it can usually be pain for your opponents. Note that when Tipsy Slide resolves, if you're not in the hazardous poison aura, your poison will go down 1. Some of the dice I didn't move because open the gourd, hazardous poison is still up, so if they moved through it, they kept a poison. So, show you Barroom Brawl. This is the ability that I said, whenever Tri-Chi moves within 1 inch of an opponent, they can do 1 damage. And all you have to do is reduce your poison. So I have a Hooded Rider there. You can see he's kind of up in the mix. So if I wanted to charge the Hooded Rider, I think I'm just showing you, if the Hooded Rider ended his activation with 12 cups of coffee with Twitchy, I can move 1 inch, and since I'm moving, I can reduce the poison to then do a damage to it. Then I go with my big beater. Hey, look, I moved within 1 inch of the Hooded Rider. I'm going to reduce the poison by 1 when I charge, so I do a point of damage automatically. It's like a stupid good stampede. Okay, and then I'm just hitting the Hooded Rider. I have min 3, so hopefully I'm doing at least 4 damage. Onslaught with it. Hey, then I can charge in with this other monk. Reduce its poison to a point of damage to the Hooded Rider. Are you seeing how ridiculous this is yet? So just by moving with 3 models, I've done 3 damage to this damn thing. And my beater with the Whiskey Golem, maybe he's done 3 damage, maybe he's done 4 damage. Oh, look, Hoffman moved and ended his activation. Huh, I have 12 cups of coffee. I'm going to go ahead and activate Twitchy. I'm going to reduce my poison. Oh, it's this monk. I'm going to do a point of damage to your Hooded Rider. Suck it, nerd. Oh, crap, my Hooded Rider's almost dead. Well, you know, he's pretty much done there. I don't think he can do anything else. Oh wait, he's gonna go and he's gonna move and just do a point of damage by reducing Shoujo's poison. Oh god, that's gonna kill my hooded rider. No! Poor hooded rider. That's how ridiculous all this barroom brawl nonsense can get. So definitely be aware of it when you're playing against Brewmaster. It gets pretty nasty. Like you don't want to get up in that pain train just because you're gonna get poison and everything that moves is gonna do points of damage to you, and they're probably not losing poison because they're probably in the hazardous aura. Let's say Hoffman's gonna attack this poor little monk over here. You might say, haha, Hoffman's gonna beat the crap out of you. Oh yeah, well, maybe not. So Hoffman does some decent damage there, but the thing is, you can reduce the poison to up to 2 to reduce the damage by 2. So the monks are pretty durable for the attacks you're going to throw into them. A lot of heals in this crew. It's pretty nasty. So be prepared for it. Have some tech against it. This is generally how this crew works. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. Hopefully this helps you realize how to unpack your Brewmaster crew or how to fight into the Brewmaster 2 crew. So let me know what you think about the video. Let me know if this helped you with the Moonshiner. Make sure that you guys are liking and subscribing, sharing the video, and don't forget to flip cards, flip tables. We'll see you all next time.